G'day ladies and gents, just a little bit of a video with this little man. He's going really well. He's almost finished his last milk changeover. I use the Kangaroo, which comes in 4 different formulas for different age. I sometimes use Adelaide, but I do prefer the Kangaroo. Kangaroo is usually under 4 months. Then there's another one from 4 to 6 months, then 6 to 7 months, and then 7 months and older. This little fella's on his 6 to 7 and 7 and up changeover at the moment. Hey, you gonna have some? Or do I need to chew on it again? Okay. Here we go. Here we go. So it won't be long until he's on the 7 and up milk full time. He's still on the 5 hourly feeds. He's got a habit now of waking up at about 10 minutes before his feed's due. And what he'll do is he'll jump out of his pouch. He'll jump up onto my chest and he'll sit there and he'll pluck out I've got a ringneck parrot just here. If I can turn this around, we've got a few of these sorts of ones around. This one here, it's not the Port Lincoln ringneck, it's just one of the others. I can't remember the type offhand, but they really love the aeromophilus. I love getting the nectar out the bottom of the flowers. This tree here is really popular with a lot of the birds. I don't know if that's... There's so many birds that come here because I've looked after them in the past. It's pretty hard to figure out whether that's one of them or not. But this little fella, like I was saying, he wakes up about 10 minutes before feed time, gets out of the pouch and jumps up on my chest and starts plucking out beard hairs. Those ones I don't mind so much. When he starts plucking out the mustache hairs, that's when it can bring a bit of a tear to the eye, especially at 3 AM. Good little man, aren't you? What they do is if they find a hair inside of the mother's pouch, they'll shave it off. So what he's doing is he just does the same with me basically. If he finds a hair somewhere, he tries to shave it off. So fun and games at 3 AM, let's put it that way. But he's getting big now. Maybe this other little bit. I give it a little bit of a chew and a little bit of a lick, he'll usually smell and taste that on there, and he'll start to chew on it pretty well. So it's a case of I do that and then he'll feed good. But, he was only a bit over 700 grams when he arrived. He should have been about 830 grams by his foot size when he arrived. So he was a bit underweight. His foot's just over 180 mil now, and he's pushing about 1.5 kilos, maybe just over. He might be a little bit on the fat side, but that's good. He was a little bit behind, so I'd rather him be a tiny bit fat than too small. What I'll do is I'll show you his little paws. He's got very fat little fingers. Look at those big paws. Look at those big paws. You've got fat little fingers. Very fat little fingers. Aren't you? You're gonna be a big boy. You're gonna be a big boy. And he's got a good spread across his chest as well. So what's the matter? He's spending a lot more time out now, checking things out, and he's got a good covering of fur. So that's really good. Give it a bit of a scratch, He does need a bath, which we'll get later on today. Aren't you? Because you've been a messy eater. This little fella isn't a fan of the bottle. Here he goes, he's taking the hairs off my hand at the moment. His feet are like little shavers. Very sharp, and he basically just drags them across the skin and shaves the hair off. Don't ya? But he's got a good covering of hair now. A lot different than when he first arrived and he was bald. Well, basically bald. He just had like a peach fuzz on him, if you can even call it that. It was just the occasional hair. So he's getting really big now. And I must say, he's very well behaved. I've had roos in the past that have been a bit of a handful, but this one here, he's really good to look after. There he goes. We've got the parrot in the tree here, and Buddy's just arrived, which is the honey eater that I looked after last year. He doesn't like sharing his tree, so what he'll do is he'll try and get that ringneck out of the aeromophila. See all the flowers on the other side over there? Hey, buddy, 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 buddy. They often fight over this tree. Everybody seems to love it. This little fella, he loves his apple and his sweet potato and sugar snap peas and all that sort of stuff. Going really well. He's putting on weight really good and growing really well. So, as you can see, he loves his apple. Once he does get started on it, and then he goes out at full tilt. So, in this video I've also included some video of the little crow that arrived this morning, and the Adelaide Rosella that's been here for a little while, that came in with some head injuries, and it's going really good. So all of the animals are going really well. I have a feeling somebody dumped a cat here this morning. That was not in good shape at all. I like dealing with my natives. I'm not a huge cat fan when they are outside because of all of the animals that they kill. A lot of the birds that come through here are cat victims, so I'm not a cat fan. I do like cats when they're inside or they're in a cat run. I'm not a big fan of cats being allowed outside to roam. They kill lizards, they kill birds, just all sorts of animals. So somebody dumping a cat here I'm not real keen on, and I'm very, very certain that this cat was put here. And it's just that a lady rang me about a crow that someone found on the highway, and so she brought it around so it could go into the flight aviary. And that's the only reason I spotted the cat this morning, because somebody had dumped it right outside the door to the flight aviary. Now, this cat was extremely thin. By the marks around its neck, I'd say the collar had been on way too tight for way too long. And it was as skinny as all buggery, but its stomach was full. Now, I like to look at an animal and let the animal tell me what's wrong. This cat looked like it had been starved. Somebody had gone, oh bugger, it's about to die. So they loosened the collar, fed it, went, oh, I'm not sure it's going to survive. Let's just take it around to Jay's place and dump it. And that's what they did. So I will be checking my cameras later, and you can't get on my property without being seen by minimum of 3 cameras anywhere on my property. There's like, is it 16, 18 cameras now around the yard? So this person will be on minimum of 3 cameras. So I will find out who did it, and I won't be happy. If somebody brings around an animal, even a cat, if somebody brings it around and goes, look, it needs help, I will help it, or I will find somebody that can help it. Don't dump animals in my yard. I don't appreciate it. I like to help an animal right away. So it's just lucky that the crow came in, because otherwise I wouldn't have gone near that cage until late this afternoon when I went to feed the fish in the aquaponics set. So I'm not very happy about that. But it's being looked after by another local bloke, Gary, now, so hopefully it will survive, but I'm not holding my breath on it, because it was in very, very bad condition. If it found its way here by itself, that's one thing. If it was dumped here by somebody jumping the fence and putting it there so that I could find it later, I'm not going to be happy, and I'm going to name and shame. That's not how things are done. So, have you got the hiccups, little fella? Have you got the hiccups? Have you got the hiccups? Yes, you do. Hello. Hello. So, yes. Well, this fella's had a little bit of a time outside. He's had a little bit of apple, and I'm going to go and do some things and go down and get some kangaroo meat and hopefully some mealworms for the crow. So I shall get going. Alrighty, ladies and gents, hope you have a good day, and if anybody's out this way, or basically North Adelaide, and you find something on the highway, let me know and it'll be looked after. And when it's better, it will either be released or I will find somewhere for it. And I'm usually a bit picky about the animals that I look after. I'm usually pretty picky about where they go. So, especially after some things that have happened with animals that I've given to people and things haven't worked out the best. So, I'm pretty picky about it. And I'll always do right by the animal first. Alrighty, ladies and gents. You guys have a good one. And catch you later from me and baby. See ya. Ladies and gents, this little fella came in this morning. Crows are extremely hard to sex. The only real way to do it is either seeing if they lay eggs or not, or blood test. So I'm unsure what this little one is. It was found by a local out on the highway. It's actually a bit too young to be out of the nest yet. So it'll be here for a little bit, just getting a feed until it's a bit stronger and a bit bigger, and then it'll go out into the wild, depending on how long it's here for. If it's here for too long, then it'll become a resident. But get up a bit closer. Hey. He's a good little fella. He's just chilling out. Ain't you? It's had a little bit of a feed so far, but I'll be getting some more stuff for it. I'll go down. I've already got the insectivore mix, but I'll go down and I'll grab some kangaroo mints as well, and some chunks, probably beef or something like that, but not the small stuff. It's big enough so that it can take chunks now. Inside of here, this is the flight area. I've been planting a lot of different things in here, all sorts of different plants. It's got the ponds. I just lowered that pond that way this little fella can't get stuck in there. This one here he can't because of the rocks that are in there. You can see the water going over the fall there now. Goes from one to the other. I just want enough water to keep the pump going. That's about the depth that I want it at the moment. I don't want it very deep at all. So by the looks of it, that's just about right. Just enough to keep the pump going. Yeah, that looks good. I might put another couple of litres in. But, so this little fella will be in here. I must say, they do have beautiful eyes. You see that beautiful blue eye. Yeah. 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 You better move this dish. Yeah. Oh. Here we go. How's that? How's that? Huh? How's that? He's trying to call. Well, also in this video, I'm going to chuck a little bit of footage of the Rosella, and I'll see what BB's feeling like. If he wants to go outside and have a little bit of a walk around. I'll leave this little fella for now. Let him do his thing. And I'll get going. Alrighty, ladies and gents. See you later. Hey. Hey, what's the matter?